Welcome back, everyone. We have yet another fight breakdown for you today. This time it is a road rage incident that turns physical. Check it out.
Stop! You stop! Stop! Stop, motherfucker, stop! You stop! Stop, piece of shit!
Now, unfortunately, we don't know what led up to this incident. What I do know, however, is that the headlock is a very common attack that you will see in street fights. So let me give you some options on how to get out of that position. So being headlocked up against a wall, and this headlock position in general is not uncommon in sport either. You don't see it too much. Like, I'm not going to sit here in an MMA fight and just beat the crap out of the person. But this could be a setup for a hip toss, or like we're seeing up against the car, this might be one where I kind of have him pinned up against the wall. I split the legs a little bit, and now I'm in a position where I can have some control and I might be able to land some shots. Not super common. Again, it's kind of like a transitional space in sport. In self-defense though, we see this all the time where they're just squeezing, sitting here and just kind of throwing as many punches as fast as I possibly can, or trying to rip them down to the ground. So either way, it's a situation we need to know how to deal with. In this specific video, the guy's pinned up against a car. We'll use the wall for an example. But the guy's got a headlock on, and the guy that's doing the headlock kind of has his leg in between the dude's legs, pinning him up against the car. Now, I find this particular position and situation to be a bit easier to escape from than if we were off the wall. Reason being, I can use this wall as momentum. I can use it to shift my body, and it's easier for me to manipulate his body and his momentum. But more importantly, because he has my hip split and I have a leg behind his hip, it allows me to manipulate him easier compared to if I was here, or even worse, if he's got me pinned and my hips are on one side, it might be a little bit more difficult for me to get to a good position of control, and I'm going to want to start kind of working my hips through. Nonetheless, it's got me pinned up against the wall like this, right, or the car in the situation. This still has to be somewhat of control, because again, if he is ripping down on my head, my posture is going to be broken, so I do want to be trying to fight that as much as possible, because I don't want my head to get ripped down, or he's going to be holding on tight here, and this hand's just going to be throwing punches. So either way, this hand has to be actively defending the punches, fighting these grips. It needs to be doing something. I'm not just going to have this hand sleeping here. This hand, I'm not going to be worrying about throwing strikes. This really isn't going to do much. I might land a lucky shot that kind of gets him to move a little bit, but honestly, it's not really a good position for me to put him out. And if he's a bigger guy, I might not be able to reach all the way around and get like a kidney liver shot, right? What I can do though is grab whatever material I possibly can. If I'm able to reach all the way around, I can grab the waistband, I can grab the shoulder shirt, top of the collar, I can grab the shoulder, I can grab the arm if I can reach it, I can grab the hip, whatever I can get myself a good grip on. At this point, what I'm looking to do, I get control here, I get control here. I'm gonna brace myself up against the wall. More likely, again, he's already pushing you into it. I'm gonna posture my head as much as possible. I'm gonna take my lead leg, step. My back leg, step, just jump out for a second. And all I'm doing is sliding my hips. I'm not fighting off the wall, right? He's got you pinned. I want to use that wall as my momentum and pivot point to allow his weight to shift. When he's pressing into me and all of a sudden I open up a pocket, his weight is going to shift, especially when I start pulling. That's what I'm looking to do. Again, why it's easier in my opinion to manipulate him when we have a hard surface to work with. Get your grip, posture, step with the back leg, pivot, slam him right up against the wall. Now, more times than not, if they are still holding on, right away I'm in a good position that I can post. My back leg, I want to step out in front, right? I don't want to be stuck behind him like this, or maybe he starts scooping my foot and pulling my leg back and I start losing my balance that way, right? So the moment we get here, I step out. If he is still holding on, just start working whatever strikes, elbows, again, close quarter strikes to get these grips to break. And then once that happens, I'm disengaging. Again, especially if you're not experienced in wall fighting in general, or fighting as a whole, I'm not gonna sit here and try and square up to somebody like this. I'm gonna use that as an opportunity to get some distance, access spray, whatever the tools you need to do. But again, he's holding me nice and tight, pressing up against me. Maybe he's throwing punches, go ahead, slap around, right? I'm blocking, boom. And I just shift that weight. Get him up there, post, switch your feet, drop knees, elbows, whatever you can. If the arms are already separated when you get there, then just duck out. And again, get some space between you and the aggressor as quickly as possible. That's really what our biggest focus is when it comes to this. It's not gonna end the fight, but I wanna get some space to give myself an opportunity to run away, access tools, whatever. Now, headlocks out in an open space, right? A little bit more risky because he has more of an ability to kind of whip me and move me around. So if he's holding onto my head, squeezing me, he's trying to just kind of jerk me around a little bit. Like, we're gonna kind of be moving like this, so I may not have the ability to just manipulate him like I would on a surface, right? Now again, he might just be kind of cranking my head, he might be trying to toss me, or he's gonna be throwing punches with his hand. If he's just locked down, everything's kind of hunkered down here, he's not really doing anything but squeezing, two options. I don't like this first one a ton. It really only works if you've got size and strength potentially on the person, or just good momentum. But my near hand is gonna scoop his knee, my back hand is gonna grab the hip, I'm gonna step in a little bit, squat down, and then essentially I'm just gonna do like a deadlift. I'm gonna pick up the knee, pull down on the hip, and just bring this person straight down to the earth as hard as I possibly can. Again, it does work, a little bit more difficult to do if you're not, again, committing to the motion as one, right? Second option that we have from that situation, again, I'm controlling these hands, my other hand still getting the grip here. I'm gonna step, my back leg is gonna sit through, and we're just gonna fall to my far hip. And I'm gonna come up right on top. Now, if this hand breaks free, I pop that out, do my damage or post, and we get out of there. If he's hunkering down, which this is not uncommon for inexperienced people to just squeeze and hold you, I'm just gonna start throwing strikes, right? He's gonna have to block himself at some point. That allows me to posture up, or I'm gonna post with my hand, and as I posture, I'm just pushing down in the face. Pop up, and again, we get out of there. I'm not trying to sit here and just beat the piss out of him. I wanna get to my feet and I wanna get away. If he's throwing punches, one option that works really well here, again, this hand's gonna be hunkering down. I'm not gonna sit here and try and like pull this off, because again, this is a bigger threat. So one, I'm gonna be blocking the best I can, keeping my head tucked to his body. If you can, tuck your chin a little bit. If he wants to punch the top of my skull, it's gonna hurt his hand pretty good. But one thing that I can look to do, either this hand is gonna look, is gonna look to catch the inside of the elbow here, or I'm gonna look, go ahead, keep punching. I'm gonna look to kind of push it away, now feed it to this hand. Either way, I'm trying to get this elbow. Once I get both hands in play, lock it tight to the body, bump the knee, and again, we're pulling them straight back. Now we got that seatbelt grip, we bring it back down to the ground, we posture up, and again, we get the hell out of there. So again, just to sum it up, somebody throws you in a headlock out in an open space, understand this is very common from an inexperienced fighter, right? I'm just gonna squeeze your head, I'm gonna be whipping around, trying to bring them to the ground, smack them around a little bit. The job of this person as quickly as possible is to establish grip control, get in control of this arm here. If this hand is throwing punches, you wanna try and get that inside control to where now my hands are isolated, then we look to take them down. If for whatever reason, my hands are locked and I'm squeezing, again, still get control of these hands to relieve some of that pressure. And then if he can feed it to this, great. If not, this hand is just getting control of my hip, my waistband, my shirt, whatever this hand can grab. And then again, we're looking to bring them down. And then last but not least, if for whatever reason, I have you pinned up against a hard surface like this, you are just looking to use the wall, the surface, the mirrors, the car, whatever, use this to your advantage, especially if I'm driving in, right? Because most people out here aren't gonna just be holding you like this. They're gonna be driving you in. Again, get control of your grips, step out, shift your weight, and pull me into that wall. And now we use that as an opportunity for you to get out of it. Now this should go without saying, but the techniques that I just showed you in this video are just some options. They are not the only options. The only true way that you can actually figure out what works best for you and your body and physicality is to actually get out there and go train.